Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another edition of Stout Sunday. And joining me this morning, we have Michael Kormaroff over to my right.
Good morning.
Morning, Michael. And we have the one, the only, Mr. Ronald J. Terrio, Louisiana Stout Emperor, below me. Good morning, Ron.
Hello.
And we've already got, I'm shocked that Drunken One's up this early, but he is the morning Drunken One. Commerce Ozzy says, Happy Stout Sunday. Eclectic Beard and Gaming, that's Alan. Yeah, not too late. We just started maybe 3 minutes late, 4 minutes late. All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll start with Michael. What are you drinking this morning, Michael?
Okay. We've done this before. The Guinness Foreign Stout at 7.5%. It's a good product. Different than the Draft Guinness at 4.2 and the Extra at 5.6. And I've already poured it. So that's what it looks like in the glass. You want me to give my full description?
Well, we're
gonna go around again.
We'll go around and we'll come right back to you. It's
That's
just
what it looks like in the glass.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
Mr. Ron Terrio, what are you drinking this morning?
Well, I have this from Kansas, courtesy of the Whiskey Scout, who went sort of berserk when he came over here. And I thought he was saying, yeah, he was like, I'm going to bring you a few beers. And you know what I always say? No, I don't want anybody bringing me beer, but so then he opens the trunk and I'm like, well, I said, you making me feel funny. I mean, he brought, if I could show you it's insanity, I said, oh, but anyway, I got oatmeal stout from Free State Brewing. It's 6.1% alcohol with 42 bitterness units. Now I bought Robert. I bought him. Well, I didn't know he was really coming. I didn't know when he was coming. He just kind of like announced it. I knew he was coming, but I didn't know exactly when. But he announced it. So then I was kind of caught unprepared, and then we're
getting some backup vibe of some kind. What do you think that is, John?
I don't know. I hear that too. It's like a reverb.
Yeah,
I'll mute myself if I'm causing.
I think it was coming. Yeah, it's gone now.
Hello. Yeah, it is gone.
It was Michael. I noticed sometimes when we do Wild Card Wednesday, well, that's been buried, but the Wednesday night event that he'll have some reverb, and it could be some kind of system. Who knows what it is?
Mine used to do that all the time. I just mute myself for a second and then unmute it, and then it's just gone. So sometimes you just need to reset your audio.
Yeah, you used to have a lot of problems with that. I noticed. You're right; it is gone on your end. What I bought Robert, I bought him some andouille sausage and some smoked hogshead cheese because I'm pretty sure they don't have that up there in Lawrence, Kansas. And I live in a town called the andouille capital of the world. That's the nickname of the town. So
I love andouille sausage. The hogshead cheese. I don't know if I've ever actually had authentic hogshead cheese, but
it's just like a block. It's like a block of smoked pork, and you cut it and you put it on a cracker, or you can put it in hot grits, and the mixes all in. If you like meat, if you like meat products, you'd like it.
I'm sure I'd love it. All right. Let's go back around. Since we've got 3 today, I don't have to keep up with everybody. I'll just go ahead and we'll do it this way. So we'll start back with you, Michael, and your Guinness Foreign Extra Stout.
Yeah, let me show it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Really quick. Let me just tell you guys
you didn't do yours yet.
I've got this one here. Lime Creek Stout Side the Perimeter. It's a 6% alcohol double chocolate stout from Peachtree City, Georgia. All right. Now you're good.
This is what it looks like. It's a bottle from the famous Guinness Company, 7.5 alcohol. And in the glass, it's dark brown bordering on black. If you look in the light, you really can't see through it, but you get some, ruby red maybe highlights at on the edges. But for the most part, it's opaque and you can't see through it. The head is beige and it's pretty, a lot of retention on the head and it keeps regenerating. I mean, it looks similar to the other Guinness. I have to say there's not that much difference in the look to the other Guinness. The other Guinness being the extra, because the draft looks completely different because it's nitrogen instead of carbon dioxide. Okay, anyway, let's get a nose on it. Dark roasted malts, some coffee kind of nose. Maybe a little bit of background chocolate, but it's not strong. That's about it. Let me taste it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Michael.
It has a more substantial taste than the Guinness Extra Stout. The dark roasted malts, I guess, are more accented. It's interesting, too, that the difference in the almost 2% difference in the alcohol is really not that, you really can't taste it that well. So it's covered up in the combination of the roasted malts and whatever hops they are using. It's not a hop forward kind of thing. It's certainly malt forward, but it's well put together. It's a really tasty beer. Medium mouthfeel. It's just more substantial than the 5.6% Guinness, and a little stronger tasting, I guess. So I have to admit that you could tell if you had them side by side. I think you could tell the difference, that this is more substantial and carries a bigger punch. So I guess the foundation of it is a little bit stronger. You'll notice too that, like I'm saying, the head is still continuing to generate, has that nice smooth look to it on the side of the glass.
Mm-hmm. Sure
I will keep sipping on it, and we come back around. I'll have a score for everybody.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we went live, and we both agree that that's the best Guinness beer on the market. At least, in our opinion. I haven't had the straight bourbon barrel aged or that gingerbread spice one that Mr. Terrio's had, but of the standard Guinness lineup, that one is by far my favorite.
Did you ever have the Antwerpen Stout or the West Indies Porter from them?
Unfortunately, no. I'm talking of the big three mostly, and then the one I think the foreign extra stout is better than the barrel aged, the Bullet barrel aged one that David gave me. Although that one was excellent, I still think that the foreign extra was better. I've had the 200th anniversary stout as well as the Over the Moon milk stout, and I think the foreign extra is the best of those. But yeah, I haven't had all of their beers, but those are a lot harder to come by. So I guess I'm just talking about like their core group. I guess they're more widely available stuff.
Jay, on those barrel aged ones, Jay, are those available? Because I still haven't seen those here.
Me neither. I haven't either.
And I'm in New York, where you'd think you could get them.
Well, they were available. I don't know. I guess my assumption was that it was a limited run, and you would think in Baltimore, coming from Baltimore County, Maryland, they would go to New York before they come to the Gulf Coast.
I just never saw them. Now, maybe it was a limited run where it was out and people bought it up because it was something new, and then it didn't reappear on the shelves. That's possible.
That was my impression. They made a certain amount, they sold it, and then they're going to go on to something else. But of course, they could always bring it back. I imagine they just were trying to see what people thought about it. The Bullet was an interesting one. That was the first of that series, right? And then they came out with the other barrel aged, and then the gingerbread, which was controversial. Now, Michael, I have a question. Do you find that the foreign extra stout has any kind of dark cherry notes, because I always find it has dark cherry notes.
Yeah, it has like some kind of dark fruit. Maybe it is cherry now that you mention it. I am tasting that.
Yeah, when I reviewed it, I remember mentioning it almost had like a barrel note because it had that dark fruit component, which you don't really get a lot with just standard stouts. Like I thought it had a barrel aged presence, a light barrel aged presence with that dark, well, with the fruit note in there. I thought it was more of a dark fruit, maybe not necessarily cherry, but either way, it had a little something extra in it, you know?
We get a few Guinness varieties, but if you look on their British website, their home website, there's way more that they make that we don't get. So it's crazy. Like, and I think the Guinness Draft Stout, I think that's really a porter that they call a stout. 4.2% alcohol with that thin body. Come on, man. That's a stout.
It is delightful, though. That nitro, I remember the nitrogenized Guinness was the first stout I ever had, and it is really what got me into stouts. So it's kind of, as somebody who hasn't had a stout, that being your first ever stout, you would definitely think it was stout because it's, you know, it's just, we're spoiled with all these high ABV, heavy bodied beers nowadays that we don't necessarily appreciate the, you know, the roots of the style as much anymore.
I guess we don't. I still love it. And if you look at some old Guinness advertisements from the 1930s and 40s, they say this wonderful porter, you know, it's like, doesn't even say stout, it just say Guinness porter. And then all of a sudden they decided it was a stout. But all stouts are porters, regardless of what people say. Every stout is a porter.
But not every porter is a stout.
That's right. Now, that's a fact. It's a stout porter. Now, my beer, thanks again to the Whiskey Scout, man, I never seen somebody so excited buying stuff as I saw him. Well, you came close. As I saw him at Savannah Discount yesterday. An international market. He was just
he shared a little video with some of us, and he bought a lot of whiskey and some beer, but a ton of whiskey that I saw.
Rum and gin. It was like he was jacked up. All right, anyway. Didn't I tell you? He said, yeah. But he just said, if I lived out here anyway, I'm just going to read what I wrote on my written review here. Free State Oatmeal Stout has a thin cola-like head. Cola-like white head, sorry. A very dark brown appearance with ruby highlights as the light strikes it and no lacing. The aroma is muted, and I thought it was because it was cold, but this is warm pretty well, and nothing's changed. But one detects dark bread crust, and that's when you do a lot of detective work. The taste is the same with low bitterness. Free State Oatmeal Stout has a low medium body and a dry finish. And I signed it RJT. So, I mean, sorry for the sparse description, but that's what I'm getting, sparse presentation. And I'm not going to sit here and just make up adjectives to make it sound fancy. Are
you getting any creaminess from the oatmeal, if there is oatmeal in it?
Well, it better have oatmeal. It's an oatmeal stout. No. It's just dry and it's I'm thinking of Samuel Smith's oatmeal stout. That's like that's the benchmark.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can beat that one. So anytime I drink an oatmeal stout, that's always in my mind as the prototype, what everything should be, but nothing ever is. And so anyway, it's a beer. You could drink it, you know, it's fine.
Okay. All right. I guess Robert was just giving you some of the leftover beers that he didn't really like so much, huh?
It's possible. Later on, I'll show you some of the stuff we bought if you're interested. But
absolutely, yeah. We'll have plenty of time for show and tell at the end of the show since it's just the three of us today. I'll go ahead and bring myself up here, and we'll get this Lime Creek Stout going, or Stout side the perimeter. It did pour with about a 1-finger tan head. As you can see, it's kind of dissipated, but there is that thin little film left on the top. It's pretty much jet black. I can't see through it at all. The lighting in here is not the best this morning because it's really cloudy outside, but I can't see through it, so we'll say that
the lighting is fine, believe me.
We'll say that it's jet black because I can't see through it. The aroma, definitely getting the chocolate. It is a double chocolate stout. That's the first thing that I pick up on is some nice dark chocolate. A little bit of caramel. A little bit of roasty, toasty malt character from the roasted malt, like some toasted bread notes. That's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and get a taste on this thing here. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, John.
Cheers.
More of the chocolate coming through on the palate. Definitely chocolate forward. Rich, chocolatey. It's got almost like a creamy mouthfeel from the chocolate. There's no, doesn't mention there being lactose added in addition to the chocolate, but with the chocolate, you are going to get a little bit more of that creamy mouthfeel. It does have some nice roasty, toasty, bready notes in the middle of the sip. A slight coffee note just from the deepness of the roast. There's no coffee added to this, but there is a little bit of astringency that I would associate with coffee just from the roasted malt character that I'm getting. 4 to 6% stout. This is high, medium, almost getting into heavy bodied. It's got a lot of body to it. Carbonation, though, is relatively low. The finish is slightly bittering, and that chocolate just kind of lingers around. It's but it's not overly sweet. You're getting a lot of the chocolate flavor, but it's really not a super sweet beer. I like it. I'll come back around and give you guys a rating here in a little bit. Really quick, I wanted to go back to the chat. Got Ronald Sutton in the chat. This is actually my first beer today. Those videos were recorded yesterday, and I just posted them this morning because I was having trouble uploading them yesterday for whatever reason. And Jeremy says, never got an alert on YouTube. Well, you know how YouTube is. It's hit or miss with the notifications sometimes. And Ronald Sutton says, every Pilsner is a lager. Not every lager is a Pilsner.
And that's also correct.
Is also correct. And Commerce is drinking with us this morning. He's having the Tiramisu Stout by Ellison Brewing Company out of East Lansing, Michigan. Never heard of it, but sounds like something I would enjoy. I do love tiramisu, so 7% and tastes like tiramisu. So I think I'd like it. Sounds like a winner. Okay. So let's go back around. And Michael, what are you thinking about the Guinness Morning?
I guess I'm doing a lot of this comparison between the Guinness Extra Stout and the Foreign Stout because they're both brewed in the same place in Dublin, and difference of 1.9% in the ABV. So to me, the difference in this is the intensity. I do agree there is some either cherry or dark fruit component, which is definitely there. And it has kind of a dry finish as well. But I think a lot of these, the same type stouts, this being a foreign stout, have that kind of dry finish. It's not a bone dry finish. It's just like a light dry finish. But it makes you want to go back and drink more. This is a really wonderful product, though. I mean, like I said, I didn't have any of their barrel-aged ones, so I can't compare it to that. But I'm going to give it a 97, which is on the borderline of world class. It's not top level world class, but that's the third highest score I can give because I don't give any undies. So 97 is a pretty good score for me, and definitely buy it again. In the co-op, it's $202 is what it costs for an 11.2 ounce bottle. which I guess, it's a 6-pack for $12, a little bit more, 12. Not a bad price for something like this.
No, and it's actually cheaper here. It's $9.99 here. I can buy it for $9.99.
How much did you pay, Michael? Again,
202 for one bottle, but it would be 12 if you spread it out. So a little bit more than John pays in Georgia. And part of that could be because the food co-op may not get this discounted. They get it from a distributor. And like if you get yours in Kroger or some of these other places, if they buy a lot of it, they get discounts. And that's where you can mark stuff down a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
and I can still find it around the New Orleans area at some stores for $8.99 a 4-pack. True story.
Oh, and that's right, Michael. So it's not even sold. So actually, your price isn't too bad because it's only sold in a 4-pack, not a 6-pack.
Oh, okay. So all right, that makes me feel a little bit better then. I didn't overpay for it. Because I was also noticing tomorrow on Malty Monday, just an aside, is going to be ESB, and Jay was able to get his for 60 cents less than me. For $2, I paid $2.59. But when it comes to being able to walk to the corner to get it versus having to travel, 60 cents is nothing. I mean, I really,
Yeah, right.
knew I could get it. And
It's only a 1-mile drive to where I bought mine. 1-mile drive. But
but see, I had to get in a car. I could just, I put my mask on, hopped outside, walked a half a block to the store, and I also buy other stuff while I'm there too. So I didn't just go for that. But they also sell the lager there too, and that was also $2.59.
okay, well, I can walk 20 minutes and get exercise and pay $1.99.
Okay, well, it's a little bit more of a hike, but again, you realize now in New York it's 25 degrees too, and we're about to get this big snowstorm.
That sounds like something.
Nor'easter. A nor'easter is coming up the way. I think it's Orlena is on the way. It's already in Virginia now, on its way up, and
We're getting we're not going to get any of the crazy snow or anything, but we've got a front. I think it's part of the same system moving through here later today. We've already gotten a little bit of rain, but it's supposed to cool off, and I think the highs tomorrow are only supposed to be in the 40s, but I think tonight it's supposed to get like 29 degrees tonight. So,
Well, Michael, that sounds like the kind of weather I would hate. And right now in Louisiana, where I am, it's 70 degrees and sunny.
Ooh.
well, I would prefer that here if it was a choice, but it's going to be February at midnight tonight, and February can sometimes be as cold as January. It depends on the year, and we always get snow in February. My birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks too.
Oh, good.
I will be 70.
I was going to say, you get it. That's a big one.
I'm gonna buy you one of those. I'm gonna buy you one of those upwalkers.
So far, I'm still stable, but we'll see what happens. We've got to take care of ourselves, and I actually think drinking good beer,
a beer a day, a good craft beer a day keeps the doctor away.
It keeps you
Right.
younger feeling.
And John believes in that, and he multiplies that amount to be even more healthier. Now,
I do.
although I have been.
I mean, you throw in the spirits, the early dawn busters and all that on top of that to make it even more of a healthy lifestyle. So
if you want
that.
to nitpick, but yeah, I paid $1.99 for the 25.4 ounce can of the Foster's Premium Ale, which not honestly, I don't know why I would say it like that. Actually, used to be called Foster's Premium Bitter, but for some reason, I think they decided that Americans wouldn't buy something that said bitter on it. So about 18 years ago, they changed it to Foster's Premium Ale, but they didn't change what it was.
Yeah, you showed the picture. You showed the picture on the site, so of the old one that they had 18 years ago.
Yeah, when Miller first started making it under contract, I would look at the Miller website, which is now Molson Coors, and it would say Foster's Premium Bitter, and it would go all on about it. And I was like, I want to find it. I want to find that. And I would always be looking to find it. And he used to have it in bottles too. And then, of course, when I first found it, which was around 2010 or 9, by that time they'd already changed it to Premium Ale. I was so aggravated because I wanted one of those old bottles or cans that said Premium Bitter, but
Could have had in your collection.
Yeah, right. And it goes back to like the 1800s. They had been making that ale but it's not popular. I don't even think they make it in Australia. They barely sell Foster's in Australia. There's 2 types down there, but anyway. John saying, I don't want to hear all that. This is a stout show. This is not an ESB show. I know.
No, that's all good.
Oftentimes,
you haven't given a rating yet, though. I don't think.
I'm about to. First thing I want to say is that when Michael and you were giving description, I was fiddling with these comic books, and I know you're thinking, and it's a natural thought, is why he's not paying attention to this. He's doing all, but like I told you in a private message, if I sit there and I'm like right now just listening to y'all talk, I'll start daydreaming and I'll not pay attention. It's strange. It's like this my whole life. But if I get up and start fiddling around with these things, then I'm listening the whole time. I don't know why that is. So it seems like I'm not, but actually that I am. And if I'm looking right at you, I'm probably not paying attention because my mind will start to wander. It's weird. I don't know, some kind of cognitive deficit. But I can name every country in Africa without notes. But anyway, oftentimes the more you drink on a beer, the better the score gets. But not every time, and not this time. When I did my initial review, I gave it a B+. But it kind of drops with each sip, which to me is not a good sign. I'm sure you'd agree.
Right. It should be getting better, not worse.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad product, but it's pretty bland. It doesn't have much going for it. The body is thin. I don't know what the stout is about. Taste some of this to the internet. Watch. See what I mean? Notice how thin the body is. Oh, that's right. We don't have that technology yet. I give it a 83, a B, barely a B. And I hate to say that since he brought it to me, but like you said, he was unloading some junk he didn't want. So it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act.
All right. Well, this one here, the Lion Creek Stout Side of the Perimeter. It's really enjoyable. I kind of wish maybe there was a little bit more sweetness to it, considering that it's a double chocolate. You are getting the chocolate, but it's just very. It's not bitter. It's just the chocolate's there, but there's no sweetness to it. The roasty, toasty, bready notes are nice in the middle, but you get that bitterness on the end. So it's more of like a bitter stout with chocolate notes than a chocolate note or chocolate stout with bitter notes. It's weird. It's in the A range, but I'm gonna go A-. I'm gonna go 90. It's right there into that A range, but it could have been a little bit better. The Samuel Smith's is much better. The Young's double chocolate is a lot better than this as well. Not that this is, it is excellent, but it's just, those other beers that I just named are a lot better quality than this, I think.
My wife Audrey likes chocolate stouts. She probably would be with you because she likes the ones that are sweeter. She probably would find the same thing. And she seems to not like the bitterness either. So chances are she would be similar. She might even go down to a B+ or even a little bit lower, because if it's not sweet, then she's not getting what she wants in a chocolate stout. She likes.
Now, speaking of chocolate stouts and the one that I sent you that Audrey wanted to drink, are you guys saving that for one of your tastings, or are you just gonna?
I think we'd be better off just having it together, just splitting the beer, because when we do the tastings in a bigger group, you only end up getting, it's a big can. It's from, I think Revolution was the brewer.
It's Orpheus Brewing out of Atlanta, but Revolution was the name of the company, I believe, that made it's like a donut chocolate stout. So it's like a collaboration type beer.
So when she first saw that of the cans you sent me, she says, "Do you think John would mind if we have it together?" And I said, "I know he will not mind if we have it together." So I think we'll probably split it, but we're going to look for an occasion to do it, not just do it, at dinner or something. Do it for like a special occasion or something. Well, maybe we could wait till my daughter and her I'm calling him my husband. He's still a fiance. When they come over, and we could split it with 4 people rather than the 6 or 7 that we have. Because this Thursday is my regular monthly tasting coming up.
Right.
But we're not gonna do it there. But she's excited about it. She likes that kind of more sweet. She's hoping it'll be sweet. And you've had it, so you probably know. But hopefully it'll be what she likes. And she's pickier than me when it comes to certain things. But she was not a beer drinker at all until about maybe 5 years ago.
Wow.
Well, 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. So it goes back into the teens in the 2000s anyway, when she first started drinking. But she's always been a wine drinker and a vodka drinker more than a beer drinker. But now for dinner, she'll say, why don't you go down and get a wheat beer, and we'll split a wheat beer, or go down and get a lager. She likes lagers, wheat beers. She just doesn't like West Coast IPAs.
IPAs, yeah. So Commerce is asking, I think the answer to that question is yes for all 3 of us. Haven't we all had the Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout?
Yeah. Yep. It's a very good stout, actually. It's a Russian Imperial Stout at 10%, and I like it. And the Co-op always has it. You can get that anytime at the Co-op. And that's in the same price range as this. It's a 12-ounce bottle, and that's almost, like maybe $1.98. So that would also be a $12 6-pack kind of thing, which is a good price for a 10% beer.
All right. Well, we got through all our ratings, as you guys can see on the bottom of the screen. If anybody's joining in late, all decent beers. Ron's was, on the lower end of good, but still in that B range. So it is that time of the show. We're making great times. This is just the 3 of us. So let's do a little show and tell. I know Mr. Terrio's got some interesting stuff from our good buddy Robert the Whiskey Scout, who would be here this morning if he wasn't still in Louisiana. I think he's there for a few more days. But he and Mr. Terrio got to meet up and did a bunch of shopping, and Robert got a little out of hand. And I know Ron bought some stuff too, probably, but he also got a lot of stuff from Robert. So, Ron, what you got?
Well,
he's collecting his
today
stuff.
was one of those days. Yeah, I was fooling with those books. Today is one of those days where the macro beats the micros.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
You understand that? You understand what I mean by that?
Yep.
You got macro beers?
Oh, think about what just happened on this hangout.
Oh, the Guinness. Yeah, the Guinness won today with the absolutely.
It's definitely a mass-produced beer. I can't say it's not. So it's not like I dislike every macro. It's just
it's the biggest.
This is a specialty case. Wouldn't you agree that Guinness is specialty, even though it's mass-produced?
But this is it not only is Guinness a big company, it's the biggest liquor company in the world, Diageo, and they're huge. I mean, Guinness got so big that they became Diageo, and they bought out all these liquor companies. Johnny Walker, they bought out. Well, you could just name them all day. I mean, it's incredible what they own. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, I guess. But they are big. I have a Scotch taste challenge coming up. I was doing Chivas Mitsunara against everybody, and I forgot to taste challenge it against. Oh, by the way, this is really good. And Robert got him a bottle. Usually, it's going to cost you $45 to $55 a bottle, but he was at Savannah Discount. He knew about that connection, so he was able to get one for $17.99. Haha.
I thought that was the one that you purchased for him and had it sitting around for months and months and months.
Well, yeah, but it still came from Savannah Discount. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Oh, okay. All right.
I can imagine, Jay. I can imagine Robert going berserk in there because he's somebody who really likes whiskey value, and from what you said, it's It's a
He
value
brought so much.
trouble.
It was just fun for me to watch him, like, oh yeah, and it because we went to International Market, and he was like, man, this place is incredible. I can't believe this place, International Market, and he was buying and buying. And we went to like 3 stores, and he was like really buying a lot of stuff. He's like, I gotta cool it. I said, the funny thing is, this is sort of like the preliminary part. I said, because when you see Savannah Discount, you're not going to believe it. I mean, he was very impressed by International Market. It's really something to see. He couldn't get over it. But then we went to Savannah Discount. He was just like Fred Sanford, But so anyway, I have to do the taste challenge against John's favorite, Scoresby. Very rare. Yeah, it's so rare. It's so rare you can get it at Walmart. That's how rare it is. But anyway, I had forgotten to do this one. So this is going to be a total mismatch. You know how this is going to turn out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the cigar is going to wipe the floor with it.
Sorry, let me shut the door. He's gunning his boat engine.
Okay.
He cleaned it. He cleaned the boat. And so, nice. All right. So here's some of the other trash that he gave me. Oh, and by the way, when we were at Dorgnac's, we bought this. He couldn't resist. It's an Imperial Coffee Porter from St. Arnold. It's called 2020 French Press. You can highlight me if you want so people can see it better. If you want.
And Jay, St. Arnold is in the Houston area of Texas.
It's literally in the middle of Houston, like in the center of Houston. It's an ale with coffee aged in bourbon barrels, 9.9. There's a second version that's aged in cognac barrels. Very expensive, not $2 a bottle by any stretch. But he said, I can't resist either, so he bought one too. Now, here's some of the stuff he gave me. Why does he have to work on his boat engine right at this time? Here's Imperial Cask Cuvée, an ale aged in bourbon, rye, and Madeira barrels. It's a limited to release from 2020. Some's telling me it was not $2. And it's 13.8% alcohol and 30 IBUs.
Wow, that's nice. I love Boulevard beers, and that's unfortunate that you don't get them down there in Louisiana anymore. But hey, at least Robert brought you.
Don't say anymore. Yeah, don't say anymore. We've never gotten them. Here's another one he bought me, a limited release for 2021. It's called Boulevard Chocolate Ale with cocoa nibs, vanilla extract, in a collaboration with Christopher Elbow, whoever that is.
He's a chocolatier, I believe. I've had that one. It's really good.
8.7 and 11 IBUs. So, and you want to see any more?
Yeah.
Okay. Put this back. He bought me, let's see. I can't show it all. It's too much. All right. And then I'll show y'all some of the stuff I bought, which is not that impressive. Strata Citra India Pale Ale from Boulevard in their tasting room. This is a tasting room thing.
Oh, that's at the brewery only exclusive. Because he did that brewery tour not that long ago. Awesome.
Great.
Yeah. He gave me this one called Snow and Tell Oak Aged Scotch Ale. Scotch Ale aged in oak. It just goes on and on. Storm Chaser IPA from Free State Brewing Company. I got to drink the IPAs first, of course, because.
Well, hopefully the IPA is better than
the oatmeal stout.
Yeah, that one was
the oatmeal stout that you had today. And
he got me Bully Porter, Bully Porter with the dog on it, and he got me Alley-Oop Dunkel from Free State. He got me Ad Astra Amber Ale from Free State. He got me, that's Storm Chaser. He got me Copperhead Pale Ale. Their lager, because all the craft beer companies want to make lagers and how it tastes like Miller High Life for some reason. Let's see, the Bully Porter. Um, okay. He got me Boulevard Wheat Beer. You know their famous wheat beer.
Mm-hmm.
And he got me this from a company called Horny Toad Blonde from Coop Ale Works. Don't know what it tastes like, but I'm figuring it's going to be really good. And I'll show y'all the liquor I bought. Y'all can keep talking. I'm telling him on his own channel, y'all can keep talking. That's crazy.
So yeah, Bumpy got me. I got some beer mail from Bumpy yesterday too, which was pretty nice. I did an unboxing video, and one of them was the 120-minute IPA, which I've never had, from Dogfish Head. So hopefully, Michael, you can get one, and anybody else, we could do an event on that, because I'd really like to, you know.
The co-op usually has it, so hopefully they will when I go back, and I'll buy one.
And then, of course, he sent me 4 of his home brews. I saved the stout for last. I'm probably going to drink that later today. It's called the Bourbon Road. And he took Knob Creek maple bourbon and infused it in his homebrew stout. And so anyway, it's a bourbon barrel type beer without actually being barrel aged, but it's got the infusion in it with the Knob Creek. So I'm looking forward to trying that one.
Now, oh yeah, Knob Creek. That's our whiskey I never had. Now, when I saw you and Robert did an evaluation of this, I said beer, this whiskey, but I was at International Market and they had Jim Beam Black, and it's the 8-year age.
Yes.
So I think this is a handle bottle from about 1994. It's in pretty good shape, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was amazed by all these vintage bottles they had. So
you're going to like that. That's a really good bourbon.
And I got it for $32.
It's a good price too.
That's a steal for that size bottle. I mean, that's you don't get you can't even buy the age, or they don't make the 8-year age anymore. So the fact that you got that big old bottle for that price is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's like $23 for the regular size bottle. So I got this huge thing for $32. Now they had this at Savannah discount. I know, so don't make fun of me, but Seagram's introduced this in 1975. It was supposed to be the new Canadian whiskey, and it went nowhere fast. But they still produce it. And it's a regular size bottle. And I got it for $4.99. They had a special, $4.99 at Savannah discount.
Wow.
Now who is not going to buy that? I mean,
well, we know how Robert feels. We know how Robert feels about Canadian whiskey, but that's a separate story.
Yeah, he was like, no. But I said, well, you don't like the style. I said, but I like it, so don't you think that's something, that's a good deal, John? $4.99?
Yeah. Is that your second? I thought you had already purchased a bottle of the James Fox before. Okay. So that's,
I had bought a liter a few years ago for like $8.99. And then they had this 750 for $4.99. I said, man, the way this is going, pretty soon they'll sell 750s for like 99 cents. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
They may just give it away at a certain point. It keeps, my goodness.
Or pay you to take it. Here's Delacour. Yeah, Delacour. I don't know much about this. I just know it's a brand. Whether it's any good or not, I do not know. Delacour Napoleon Brandy VSOP. Well, I do like VSOP brandy because usually it's aged about 4 years. It's a little higher than the VS. VS usually is pretty kind of rough. It's from St. Louis, Missouri, Delacour. And they're saying on their website, this will rival Hennessy. They're trying to make it look like a Hennessy bottle, if you notice. And I'm thinking, the Hennessy has the leaves all around. I'm thinking, that's going to rival Hennessy in your wildest dreams, But hey, I never tried it either, so I can't. I've had the Hennessy VSOP privilege, which is about $55 a bottle. And this was $11.99 for a liter, which can't complain for a Napoleon brandy.
Yeah. Well, I won't actually bring my stuff on and do a show and tell here, but I did do an unboxing video, so anybody that's interested could go watch that on my channel. But Bumpy sent me 4 of his home brews, as well as 10 beers from the New England area. Most of them, I think, are from New Hampshire, his home state. But he sent me some other stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to getting into that.
I made a list off your video, John, and when I go to the car, I'm going to look to see if they have any of those 16-ounce cans that he did send you, because it is possible. The co-op does sometimes get New Hampshire beers, and I'll look.
Right. Well, and like some of the stuff is from New York. I believe the Stone Face, that Russian Imperial Stout, is from Rochester, New York.
Right. So that's possible. I'll see also there was something from Virginia. One of the ones was from a Virginia brewery. Which
right. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Virginia. This is one I forgot to show. It's I bought this at
Club
Total
blended whiskey.
Huh. It's it was $14.99 for this handle, but the thing about this stuff, it's weird because it's a little family-owned distillery in Scobeyville, New Jersey. You don't think of, and they have straight bourbon, they have rum. You don't think of that coming from Scobeyville, New Jersey. But the thing that they make that's most famous, probably all their money comes from, something called Laird's Applejack. It's Laird's.
I've heard of the Applejack. Yeah, I've heard of that. Never had it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Laird's Applejack is like big around here. And but now I noticed that Laird's is starting to drop a lot of their other stuff here. Their Queen of Hearts, or was it Queen of Spades? High proof whiskeys, like 100 proof. I might get that one day. They dropped this here now, and so they're starting to hit us with a lot of interesting things. Another thing I saw that Laird's dropped at Savannah Discount, I didn't buy it, but it was called Barrister's Pecan Maple Flavored Whiskey.
That sounds pretty dang tasty right there.
I was tempted to buy that pecan maple whiskey. It was only $6.99. They had a huge trough of it, you know.
John, if you want to highlight me, I just have one thing to show.
Yep, let's see. Go for it.
This is from Transmitter Brewing, which is originally in Long Island City in Queens, and now they have one by the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And my daughter's fiance, Chris, comes back by ferry, and he gets off at the Navy Yard. So he went in and he got me this. It's called BW1 from Transmitter. It is a aged barley wine, 11.6% and 56 IBUs. And it comes, in one of those fancy bottles with the
the cork and cage on it. Yeah, okay.
Cage. And it's, the imperial kind of pint, 16.9 ounces. So it's not a full bomber amount, but it's still more than a pint.
Yeah.
And it's bottle conditioned. And they also distill spirits in Transmitter too. So they have a picture of the distillery on the side of the bottle. I don't know if you can see it, Kings County Distillery on the bottle right there.
Yeah, I like that label too. It's got like a classic, I don't know, that's an interesting label design.
Radio towers.
This is the first one that anybody that I know has bought from the Navy Yard location. I've been to the one in Long Island City before because my daughter used to work out of it. Now with the pandemic, she's at home most of the time, and she doesn't go to maybe once a month she goes into the office and has to do something. But the rest of the time she's working out of mostly the schools, but they've been closed on and off also. Now she's also been activated, so she goes to the centers where they're giving the vaccines. And she's like an assist person because she works for the Department of Health. So I did get my vaccine. So
now I assume y'all are not going to funnel that beer.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
All right.
Jay likes to add a comedy element to the show, and
he's a stand-up comedian. I'll tell you.
That's right. John, I'm looking forward though to doing more examinations with you on some of the Georgia beers you sent me, plus maybe some of the stuff that Bumpy sent you also, if I can find them. But I'll let you know right when I go to look if I find anything.
Absolutely, yeah. So everybody, check out Wednesday night after Rontario's wheat beer examination. Hopefully I'll be able to join that, but Wednesday's just such a crazy day for me. But after that, probably around 8:30 or so, we're gonna look at one of the Georgia beers. I don't think we've figured out which one yet, but we got time to decide. One of the beers that you got for me. So look out for that. And
somebody asked me a very odd question about the wheat beers.
what? Okay, what?
He said, when you say wheat beers, what exactly do you mean? And I was like, what?
It's any beer that has wheat in it. It's not complicated.
It's a wheat beer. The beer made with wheat. I mean,
made with wheat. You know, it can be a Hefe from Germany. It can
be an American wheat, a Hefeweizen, any beer with wheat.
A lot of people should be able to find wheat beers, though. That should not be a hard topic to fill because a lot of companies make wheat beers.
All they have to say is, I didn't feel like joining.
But again,
don't tell me I couldn't find a wheat beer because then I know you're lying. I mean, come on, man.
Everybody can get a wheat beer. You can get, like, Ronnie S. would say, go to your local gas station. They sell wheat beers there too.
Yeah, Shock Top, Blue Moon.
You know, it's not like you can't get it. So it's strange, but whatever.
Right.
Wild had the 120-minute, according to Hector Lopez.
He says, I know he's had it in the past. He may not have one on hand, but yeah, no, anybody, we haven't set a date for that yet. Michael doesn't even have
I have to find one. Now, the co-op has had it before. If they don't, I'll ask her to get me one.
Right.
For sure. I mean, that's a popular beer, and they still make it. So
talking about this.
All right, there you go. So
Bumpy, so Jay can join us too.
Jay can join. Yeah, that's one of the beers that Bumpy sent me. So I'm pretty excited about that. I figured we'd do an examination because a lot of you guys can get it. I've never had it, obviously, because we don't get it here in Georgia. So that'll be coming up next few weeks, maybe. We'll see. Soon.
He might have thought that Friar Tuck, but I just thought it was a strange comment that somebody said, what do I mean by wheat beer? But well, I don't know if y'all go on early enough, I'll join. If y'all are on later, I'll probably be asleep. But you know what?
I'll keep you posted.
I'm still searching for the Sierra Nevada Bigfoot as well, which was not available at Whole Foods the last time.
Shane Fudge was like, John, you've never had the Sierra. I'm like, I've never really, I think I've seen it one time in my life, and it was gone. The next time I went to that, it was at Brandon's Package in Peachtree City. I saw it one time, and the next time I went to the store, I was actually planning on picking some up. It was gone, and I've never seen it since.
Well, Whole Foods had it 3 weeks ago, and I went back last week, and it was gone. Now, it doesn't mean they can't get it again. So I'm going to keep looking. Right. And I asked the co-op, Koozie, to look for it for me as well. And I asked a couple of friends if they had it. It's funny that among my friends, and you've seen Gail before, John, because she was on those earlier Zoom things we did, she just doesn't keep barley wines. She has stuff like she'll have the North Carolina stuff, the IPAs, and that's the kind of stuff she has. So when she goes beer shopping, I don't think she buys barley wines. I have another friend. He says, I have barley wines, not that one. So, I mean, I'll keep looking. I got an extra week because that's a week from this Wednesday. And then after that, in Jay's thing, it's the Tona and then the Schlitz product. So, I mean, that's
now the Tona. I have never seen the Tona.
I have not seen it either.
Of course, I can get Schlitz products.
Yeah, Tonya. It's really pronounced Tonya.
Tonya. I have never seen it. I'll look for it. I mean, that's all I can do. And
I gave y'all a locator tool in Beer Talk.
I can look for it if I can get it.
Oh, okay. I'll look into that and see if it's available around here.
Yeah, I mean, your zip code. I can look it up.
Right. So Friar Tuck, I cannot find the 120 in Georgia because our alcohol laws prohibit any beer sold over 14%, and the 120 is 16%. And such, talking about wheat beers, technically no, a straight wheat beer, it's just the malt that they're using, the grain. So it's not an adjunct beer. It could be though. Yeah, most of them probably are adjunct beers because we pretty much add adjuncts to everything now.
But
seems
the
like.
German Hefe are going by the Reinheitsgebot law, so those are not adjunct beers.
Right. Exactly. But if it's Belgian, you know it's going to have coriander and
well, again, that's the difference between Germany and Belgium and the way the brewing that's across, and they both have their positives. It's not like it's one or the other.
And that shows you how uptight Germany was about the Reinheitsgebot law. They were so aggravated about Belgium allowing candy sugar and coriander in their beer that they invaded the country twice just to
well, I'm sure it was not totally beer related, but they, I mean, there've been some bad times for the Belgians, but that's a separate story. The Dutch were invaded twice as well, so it's not just the Belgians.
No, once.
Oh, that's right. The Dutch were not invaded in World War I, were they?
No,
they were not. They were on the good side of the action. They were luckier in World War I.
Yeah, and then they let the emperor, the German emperor, go live in the Netherlands, and the Allies said, we want him turned over to us to put on war crimes trials. And the Queen of the Netherlands said, no, he's my guest. He can stay here. And Germany showed their appreciation by invading the Netherlands
in World War II, but that was a separate story. They had to do it because they invaded everybody on that side of the action.
Yeah,
except the Swiss, they did not invade.
Right, nor Sweden.
Or Sweden.
Or Spain. Now, but anyway,
or Portugal.
Or Portugal. One thing I'll say, John, is that it was comical on Wildcard Wednesday last week because all the comments were like, oh, I'm sorry you're canceling your channel. And it was like a big memorial. I was like, I don't think people read my messages because they thought that it was the end of like Louisiana beer reviews and Wednesday nights because it went on. And I was just getting a kick out of it. And they were like, all of this memorialization. And then at the end, I said, now next week, we're going to look at wheat beers. And they're like, what? It's like,
well, Jay, I think some of it, there are nostalgic feelings from the people on the wild card element. I know Eric voiced that, he's going to miss that, but it's like everything else, stuff changes and you roll with it. And that's just, whatever. Your channel goes a certain way and we'll follow. And if I have the beer, I'll be on. If not, I won't. I mean, I'm not going to avoid it. If I can find it, I will be on.
Yeah, it was just, I was getting a number of complaints from viewers that were saying they really wanted to go back to the old days of 2014, 15 to 17 when we had the themes. So
I like the idea, and long before I had my YouTube channel, I used to really enjoy watching those themed Wednesday night shows where all you guys were, I could buy the beer and I'd be sitting and sipping along, watching everybody give their descriptions. It's all relatable because everybody's got the same thing. I thoroughly enjoyed those shows. So.
Bumpy's show, Malty Monday, though, we're running out of styles now. I mean, it doesn't mean that we can't come up with others or do revisits or do something else. It's just that when you get to the point where, some of the things which are coming up are questionable if people can get them or not. And there've been a couple of weeks I've had to sit out because I wasn't able to get a black IPA in the winter, and it's not easy to get anytime in this stage of time because that's a style that's long gone. I'm not saying nobody makes it. It's just not. And 4 people showing up for that shows you how hard it is to get a black IPA.
Yeah. And so he even said that when he ran out of styles, he was going to kill it off, but he would come up with a new format, perhaps.
Right. We'll see what happens. But I mean, it's probably at least through this month, we'll continue to do the surveys and people will do it because I was trying to get the IPL, but that could be hard to find too. I have one, but maybe it's hard for the other people to find.
10 years ago, it was like what they say, a thing. Now it's like black.
I was going to say Yingling used to make an IPL that was pretty easy to come by around here, but I think they discontinued it. I haven't seen that in years. The Yingling IPL.
Yeah, Samuel Adams had a famous one for years, but
yeah.
Well, thanks for letting me join Stout Sunday today.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. We are right at the hour mark. Appreciate you guys joining me this morning. Had a smaller group today, but sometimes those are the best conversations because you just you get to get a little off track because you're not so much having to worry about the time.
Right.
Thank you so much to everybody in the chat. We had a great chat today. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. We wouldn't be here without you. So that'll do it for this Stout Sunday. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy
Cheers, everybody.
whatever it is that you do.
Mine is done.
That's right. Michael's that 4 and extra stout wasn't good, was it?
It didn't last as long as I would have hoped, but it was good.
All right. So we'll see you all on the next one. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.